After this, I'm gone.
Detective. No big surprise.
Detective!
You're looking for me.
1995's Se7en is one of the greatest serial killer detective stories of all time. Directed by David Fincher, the movie's incredibly dark tone and cinematography leaves a haunting impression on everyone who watches it. Notably, it is one of the primary inspirations for the tone of 2022's The Batman. In a film filled with attention-grabbing scenes, one stands out in the mind.
What's in the box?
Chances are, even if you have never seen the film, you have heard that iconic line. The scene itself is a masterclass of how to build anticipation and horrify an audience without showing anything horrifying at all. Welcome to Fairly Critical. I am your host Jacob. Join me as we break down the what's in the box scene from Se7en. Before we begin, I have a warning for all of you. This scene does have graphic and pervasive language throughout. I considered censoring it, but I'd be bleeping out segments every other second in certain parts, so I decided against it. If you do not wish to hear this mature language, it would probably be best to leave the video now. I'll give you a few seconds to decide. This scene is one of the last in the film, so let me give you a brief recap of the important parts of the movie as they pertain to what we're talking about. Veteran Detective Somerset is assigned to a homicide shortly before his retirement. He is joined by Detective Mills, a recent transfer from a different department. While Somerset is jaded and of even temperament, Mills is much more emotional. The killer they are hunting bases his crimes around the 7 deadly sins. His victims are targeted because they exhibit one of these vices. We see 5 of the sins displayed in gruesome murders: gluttony, greed, sloth, lust, and pride. Every scene in the movie is set against dark, gloomy, rainy days and nights. A visual tone that depicts a bleak outlook on life, as well as the mystery the detectives are trying to unravel. Mills invites Somerset over for dinner where he meets his wife Tracy. At a later time, Tracy will confide in Somerset that she is pregnant, a fact she has not told Detective Mills about yet because she isn't sure she wants to bring a child into such an awful world. The detectives come close to capturing the killer twice, but he evades them only to then surrender himself willingly. When he surrenders, he is not able to be identified because he has cut off the tips of his fingers. He offers to bring the detectives, and only the detectives, to his final 2 victims. The detectives agree, strap on microphones, and take a nice drive with John Doe while a SWAT team in a helicopter follows them. On the ride over, John Doe monologues about how none of his victims were innocent, and that the whole world tolerates the sins we see every day. The group drives to a remote desert location past these power lines. The power lines create a bunch of black 7s, a subtle visual cue that John Doe's obsession with punishing people for their deadly sins has led to this moment. The group gets out of their vehicle and observe the desolate landscape before a van begins to drive up to them. Somerset jumps in the car and speeds off to intercept the van before it arrives. The driver gets out and delivers a package to them. This is where we will begin.
We got a box. We got a box! Call the bomb squad! I need a bomb squad! We got a box!
Notice the shaky, random camera movement simulating the helicopter and Officer California talking directly to the camera as if to convey his concern directly to the audience. This is fitting because much like the audience, the SWAT team has no agency here. They can do nothing to influence the situation in any way. They can only react to what they see on the ground.
Face the van. Hands up. Turn around. Okay, go.
Off you go. Go!
See how sunny everything is? While every scene in the movie was bleak, it became sunny when John Doe surrendered himself. And it has been sunny ever since. It is tempting to say that this is because the killer surrendered and there is hope for a good outcome. But what is more true is to say the mystery is coming to light, and John Doe's endgame is about to be revealed.
I'm sending the driver out on foot.
The long shot of the driver and the chopper watching him run away reinforce the idea that this location is isolated, and it gets an unnecessary player out of the scene.
He's headed north along the road. Have him picked up. I'm gonna open it.
When I said I admired you, I meant what I said.
There's blood.
You've made quite a life for yourself, Detective. You should be very proud.
Shut the fuck up, you piece of shit.
In shots 10 through 20, the attention is focused on Somerset as he is opening the box. Shots 10 and 12 are Somerset weighing the risk of the box being physically harmful with his curiosity and need to figure out what's inside. Notice the low camera angles showing us that he is the one with the power here. In shots 14 through 17, Somerset cuts open the box slowly, building anticipation, while shots 11, 13, 18, and 19 show Detective Mills clearly focused on Somerset and ignoring John Doe. This will be the last time he is successfully able to ignore him, as 19 puts our attention back on Somerset. Shots 21 through 26 show Somerset's reaction, but crucially, they never show us what is actually in the box. The tension of not knowing is almost worse than the actual truth. Notice the whip pan coming from the left. The scene wants us to focus on Somerset, but as we see him looking the other way, his attention has completely shifted to Mills and John Doe. The music kicks in to confirm that Somerset is over his immediate shock and now understands the danger that they are in because of what is in the box.
California, stay away from here. Stay away from here now. Don't come in here. Whatever you hear, stay away. John Doe has the upper hand. Mills!
Somerset tries to counter John Doe by sending away the SWAT team. This adds a layer of confusion for the audience as Somerset determines that the officers that were there to protect them are now a threat for some reason we don't yet understand.
Here he comes.
What?
I wish I could have lived like you
Shut
did.
up. The fuck you talking about?
Do you hear me, Detective? I'm trying to tell you how much I admire you. And your pretty wife.
What?
Tracy.
What'd you fucking say?
It's disturbing how easily a member of the press can purchase information from the men in your precinct. I visited your home this morning. After you'd left. I tried to play husband. I tried to taste the life of a simple man.
Shots 34 through 54 show John Doe making his move. Look at the framing in this shot. John Doe is now the subject of the low angle, signaling to us that he is actually in control. The sun behind his head is reminiscent of a halo, since he is doing God's work from his point of view. But ultimately, his body is a shadow, confirming his true evil. Shots 35 through 39 show Mills trying to dismiss Doe, but crucially, he's no longer able to do so. His frustration rising until his wife is mentioned. From here, John Doe has his full attention. Notice that both characters are cast in shadow, because they both have an evil to them that we will see by the end of the scene. Shots 40 through 47 and 51 show John Doe continuing to twist the knife. Mills is fixated on him now, and so is the audience. The anticipation of what Doe is saying building off that of Somerset opening the box to begin with. Shots 48, 49, and 52 show Somerset desperately trying to get to Mills. This is thematic, but also keeps the audience aware of how close Somerset is, so as not to surprise them when he does in fact arrive and detract from the intensity of the scene. Shot 52 adds to the tension as the random camera movements and Dutch angle of the shot convey an element of emotional turmoil.
It didn't work out. So, I took a souvenir. Her pretty head.
And there it is, the reveal. John Doe has killed Mills's wife and put her head in a box. The camera shot turning into a close-up as he says the words.
What the fuck's he talking about? Give me your gun. What's going on over there?
Put the gun
I
down.
saw you with the box. What was in the box?
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
No, what's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's
gun.
in the fucking box?
Give me the gun.
He just told you.
Somerset rejoins Mills, who is fighting to deny John Doe's revelations. And with shots 61 and 63, in John Doe's words, he is guilty of envy. He is deserving of punishment. He is to be the sixth victim. But who is to be his killer? Somerset desperately pleads with Mills to throw his gun away, while Mills wants to know what's in the box, hoping against hope that it isn't what he thinks it is. Notice the camera is using random camera movements when watching Mills. Shaky, out of control, whereas the camera is static when close up on John Doe, showing that everything is going to his plan.
He just told you.
You lie! You're a fucking liar! Shut up!
That's what he wants. He wants you to shoot him.
No! No! You tell me that's not true. That's not true.
Become vengeance, David.
Ah, she's all right. You tell me.
Become wrath.
Tell me she's all right!
You murder a suspect, David.
No!
Just throw it all away, you know.
No!
In shots 67 through 77, Mills becomes increasingly desperate to get news that his wife is okay, as it becomes increasingly harder to remain in denial. He even goes so far as to ask specifically to be told that she is okay. Somerset's continual pleading for Mills to give up his gun all but confirms the truth. And in shots 71 and 73, John Doe tells us the last of his plan. Mills is to kill him out of wrath and be punished for it. Mills is the final victim.
All away, you know.
No!
She begged for her life, Detective.
Shut up!
She begged for her life.
Shut up.
And for the life of the baby inside of her.
John Doe continues to goad Mills, telling him about the baby. This leads Somerset to slap him. Crucially, this is the first time in the whole film we have seen Somerset become emotionally violent. He has been nothing but stoic and in control in the entire movie. Contrast that with Mills, who is beginning to succumb to his anger.
He didn't know.
Mills is staggered by the news of Tracy's pregnancy. Notice how the music dropped lower and lower as the characters take a second to digest. We will get close-ups of every character's face here, including an extreme close-up of Mills as his eyes water. Notice the joy in John Doe's face as he realizes Mills didn't know about the pregnancy, and the anguish in Somerset's face as he realizes he is fighting a losing battle.
Give me the gun, David. David, if you kill him, he will win.
In shots 88 and 90, we return to the extreme close-up as Mills looks to Somerset for confirmation. He is battling with the knowledge, torn between getting vengeance but losing, and winning but letting the man who murdered his pregnant wife live. Somerset makes one last desperate plea. It is solemn, it is earnest, it is in vain, and John Doe knows it.
Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh!
For just a moment, it seems like Mills might let it go. We get one last look to Somerset as Mills battles with his wrath. He is still fighting, but in a blink and you'll miss it moment, Tracy's face appears on screen as a flash of her memory tips Mills over the edge. John Doe closes his eyes, ready for the execution. He has won. Look at this low angle shot. We are down here with John Doe. It is as if we are the one being shot, as if we are the ones deserving of wrath, which, from John Doe's perspective, we are, since all of us tolerate the sins we see every day. This is a callback to his monologue in the car. It's over. We lost. Somerset can only look away. Mills, fully in shock, can only walk away. And the SWAT team, like the audience, can only watch. Mills has become Wrath, and he will be punished for it. This is one of the best scenes in movie history, and I am so glad we got the opportunity to talk about it today, especially since it almost didn't happen. Studio executives wanted to rewrite the scene, viewing it as too graphic. They actually did change it to have Somerset shoot John Doe before David Fincher was hired to direct, but accidentally sent Fincher a copy of the original script. Fincher battled with the executives over using the original one, and they only agreed to allow it once Pitt threatened to leave the project if it was changed. Pitt understood that his character was driven by emotion and would shoot the killer out of vengeance. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy days to watch our video. If you liked it, please be sure to hit the like button and leave a comment down below on what scenes from movies, television shows, or video games you'd like to see us break down next. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and thank you all so much for blessing the channel with your support. For Fairly Critical, I've been your host Jacob, and I will see you in the next one.
Every 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Hey man, if I was to accidentally shave off a nipple, would it be covered by workman's comp?
I suppose so.